What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review and the last one, we can assume, of 2023 of Kengan Omega. Kengan Omega, chapter 242, entitled Save a Bite. Save a Bite, right? Because there is something really egregious in this chapter. And no, it's not my bad hairstyle. I'm having a bad hair day, clearly. Wearing, knit hats and stuff. It was cold outside. What do you want from me? But something beyond that. There's one of the most egregious things. And a lot of you are going to say that it's the Okoye stuff, right? Like, that's what most people are going to point to. Be like, are you actually kidding me with this, right? Most people are going to go on that. Whether it's the fact that Okoye thinks he has a chance against Tiger Niko, even 2v1 with Setsuna. Whether the fact that his super reflex man couldn't react to anything. He's got guns and knives and all these things, but he still can't react to Willem. He couldn't sense Willem's presence and stuff. Like, he's really being not so great. And you could make those arguments. There is something far worse in this chapter. There is something that makes absolutely zero fucking sense. Okay? And that is about a few pages into the fight, into the chapter, after, Okoye's there and he's like, executing justice. My super new anti-evil suit is super titanium, chrome-made, friggin' Valerium steel, adamantium, and all the, rune, and what else? What other things can I draw from here at this point? But anyways, his new super anti-evil suit is all this, that, and like human power can't beat me anymore. Immediately gets beaten by it. But anyways, that's not it. About right at the beginning of the chapter, Setsuna's waving around his new fun toy, a bottle of wine shattered in a tablecloth. I guess he's just gonna have a good time. And Tiger Niko states, do you have any idea how many years plural, I had to save up for that? Okay. That's the most ridiculous, bloody thing I have heard in the year of this manga, at the very least. In the 2023 Kengan Omega, that's the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. Okay? Let's go down the list as to why that makes no sense. So, if we do the calculation, the yen was 1.6 million, right? Roughly translated to around $14,000. Give or take. Depends on whether you're in, Canadian dollars, US dollars, or something. But let's just ballpark it and say, okay, it costs less than 20,000, but more than 10. Let's just call it an even $15,000. That's how much that bottle of wine costs. Okay? $15,000. All right. He's working as one of the heads, or working right alongside as a close aficionado of the Worm. The same people that were able to, rent, Bill Clinton's hotel, a suite at the hotel. People that have, marks all over the place, who hide in plain sight in various forms of government and underground fighting and yada, yada, yada. Plus, he's also a staple of the inside, from what we can understand. So you're telling me this man never asked for a paycheck? You're telling me this man never did a job like Mutaba? He never did a job, and never just a quick, I need like $50,000. So he's like, yeah, you want that warlord in Africa gone? 50 grand and I'll do it. Like, he never did a side gig. We're led to believe that Tiger Niko was sitting down in a cardboard box, making no money, or very shitty money, for years? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that is the most unbelievable thing, that he had to save up years for a $15,000 bottle of wine. Like, no, this man is not on a fucking tradesman's salary. This man doesn't make 50 grand a year and have a 401k. This man probably kills for his, like, yeah, he's probably like a supervillain in DC Comics or some shit. He's probably like, yeah, okay, so we're gonna do that shout. I'm gonna need about $250,000. You know, $50,000 for expenses. My fee is about $125 and stuff. He does big time jobs. You telling me this man has been eating out of a cardboard box, not spending, not making any money, not spending any money? You're telling me that? I just don't buy that. I mean, granted, like, I would never blow $15,000 on a bottle of wine, 100%. But if I made the amount of money that we can presume this man has made over the course of his career, whatever it is, I'm just not buying this. The whole idea, like, oh, well, like, I would have spent I had the means to spend $15,000, but he's responsible, right? He's got that, he's got to save up, his kid's college fund, and, he can't just go blow $15,000. There's the renovation next year that they've been planning on. He wants to build that new deck for his wife and stuff, and she's been nagging him about it, And, of course, the property taxes he's been paying are just skyrocketing, right? Like, so he's responsible. And that's why he hasn't blown $15,000 on a bottle of wine. Yeah, so outside of that fantasy that he's just a working man, with a couple of kids that might not be bright enough for Harvard, but maybe they can get into a good university regardless. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying the whole how many years plural, as in not just 2. He's like arguing that he's been doing this for a long time and he's been waiting for this bottle of goddamn wine. You're telling me this man is not self-indulgent? I understand when he was in the inside under Galmukaku. That was like 30 years ago. And he's been working with the worm and stuff for, we can assume, we know for a fact he's been working with the worm for at least half a decade. You telling me he never said, yeah, listen, yeah, I'm going to need like 80 grand. Well, I just want it. Yeah, sure, here you go. You telling me that never came up, like, you know what, I really... And if that's the case, here's the weird thing about this. If this is all the case, is that he never asked for the money or whatever, and, he was maybe that stupid or whatever, and he doesn't have a day job or anything like that, where to get the $15,000 to pay for the bottle of wine? He said, I had to save up for years. What is he doing? Picking pockets of teenagers? Getting $100 at a time? Like seriously, if he's saving up, it means he makes money. How does he make money? Probably doing one of those underworld things, and I assume his rate isn't exactly $5 an hour. So, Mutaba lives high on the hog. I don't understand. This makes no sense, okay? And yes, I'm harping all on this because there's not really anything else to talk about in this chapter. But still, I'm honest. I'm honest with that. I found that such a silly line. A silly line. Not a stupid line, just a silly line. Because it's like, what do you mean you had to save up for $15,000? You did not need to save up for $15,000. So, apparently that's what it is. I'll check it right now because maybe I'm off. If it was 150, maybe my math was off. But if I go 1.6 million yen into Google right now, yen to USD, we'll do US dollars. It's 14,901 Canadian dollars. And come on, switch the thing. It's not going to load for me. But either way, it's $15,000, so it means it's like 17,000, 18,000 American. So it's still less than 20 grand. I just don't buy it. I'm not buying it. Either way, they continue the fight. Setsuna does get a bit of a run on him. He uses a double blink while Tiger Niko decides to go with Adamantian Kata. But of course, he's like, oh, Blink, you're a one-trick pony and all this stuff. And it's like, well, no, actually, because he did a double blink. He did a feint blink. And then he got him with Rakash's palm, which is fantastic. At the last minute, he managed to do indestructible, so we can assume that it did no damage. Maybe not no damage, but very minimal damage, of course, right? So they talk about this, and Setsuna did take a fork, by the looks of it, one of the forks, to his arm. He's like, my little underdogs become such a little, barking at me sort of idea, down talking him and stuff. But he did get a good counterattack in. Good for him. Setsuna's not worried about it, and he's just like, well, how about I make you get down on all fours like a dog? So Setsuna's like, yeah, no, this doesn't faze me. I'm still going at it. Now, Akoya is ready to go. He's got the knife. He's like, I'll deliver the killing blow the moment you distract him enough. I'll get in there. And I'm like, all right, Akoya, would you just calm down? Because then, boom, who is it? It's Gilbert, and it's Willem. The Woo dudes. And they're just sitting there like, oh, they're having this piece of pie and stuff. And the only reason Akoya noticed them is because Gilbert dropped his fork on the plate, and he heard the noise. And he goes, so that looks like the salmon guts pie. Now, I've never heard of something referred to as salmon guts. That's odd. You don't eat salmon guts, you eat salmon, period. There is no salmon guts. But either way, maybe it's a translation thing, or maybe that's what they call it. I don't know. So anyways, he talks about, oh, so what's this meat right here? And he's like, oh, that's roast Kobe Wagyu. He's like, oh, Kobe beef, huh? Like, wow. I mean, it is a fine dine restaurant. And that's another thing about the whole, he couldn't afford the $17,000, $18,000 bottle of wine. He was also, I assume, going to order food, and we can assume his suit cost some money and stuff. So the man wasn't just saving up for the one bottle of wine. He was saving up for this nice meal. But I'm still not buying the fact that the man didn't have like 40 grand to drop in a restaurant at any given moment. That just makes no sense. But either way, so Gilbert's there, Willem's there and stuff, and they're trying a salmon pie, and they're having some really nice Wagyu beef and stuff. And we can assume this was all on the menu for Tiger Niko himself, because nobody else seemed to be in the restaurant. Now, Akoya, of course, attacks Gilbert, and he's just like, yeah, no, no. And then Willem goes after him while Akoya's like, I can't believe it. They snuck up on me. How long have they been there? Whoa, bam, 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 bam. And Willem just immediately kicks. It's actually a really cool shot. Kicks Akoya right in the face. Boom, cracks his armor immediately. Now, you can make the argument that his actual suit is the stuff that's, no human power can break it bullshittery, but still, the fact that he cracked the glass, we can assume the glass is the weak point of some description, but still hilarious. So Willem basically says, you better save a bite of that Wagyu for me, and he's like, Gilbert's just sitting there eating his steak, and he's like, well, then you better be quick about this, because this is tasty shit, I'm gonna eat it, right? So good for him. And then Setsuna, at the end of the chapter, Setsuna takes a hit that reminds me very much of like a Devil Lance hit, like or Rahito's, finger slashes and stuff. And we see that Tiger Niko has like two fingers, like he did a like, with two fingers sort of idea, right? He did that sort of deal, and he just, so there's something that's outside the Niko style that he's utilizing right here, of course. And he said, you think you knew everything at my disposal? You're mistaken. I'm still evolving. And that's the end of the chapter, of course. Now, of course, we knew that Tiger Niko was constantly, he thought that the Niko style, unlike the real Tokita Niko and Gao Mukaku himself, the Gao style was not complete. The Niko style was not complete. Not as far as this guy was concerned. So he has, of course, the Niko style for all intents and purposes. We can assume he can use all the moves that Faye used as well. But he's beyond the Niko style. He wants to, he incorporates more than just the Niko style into his arsenal. So that's sort of what he's implying here. We don't know what that attack was. Once again, very similar to what Rahito and Kuroki do. But what did he do? We didn't get a named attack, so I don't know yet. I don't know. But either way, that was the chapter. It was quite a short chapter, realistically. I know I went on and on about the thing because I still find it unbelievable. But basically, Setsuna and Tiger Niko do blow for blow. Nothing really happens. Gilbert and Willem are there, which I don't think anybody expected. And they're having a nice meal while Akoya gets his shit kicked. That summarizes the chapter pretty much. I don't think I missed anything. So, either way, it, not a bad chapter, just a relatively short chapter for the end of the year here. But it is what it is. So that was chapter 242, Save a Bite. Always save a bite for someone, you know, especially if you're going to enjoy Wagyu. The one time, actually, I should take a lesson. The one time I had Wagyu, I was enjoying it so much. You know, I was there with my wife and my dad and my mom and stuff like that. We were doing it for my dad's thing. And we tried Wagyu beef for the first time. Paid the 300, you know, the 250, whatever, and had it. I thought it was delicious. Tasted like no other beef I've ever had. And stupidly, I was sharing it with my dad and stuff. I never offered my wife a bite. Granted, she's not super into red meat or anything, so I didn't even cross my mind. But it was mentioned to me later, and I went, "Oh my God, I never saved a bite for her. What is wrong with me?" You know. So there was that. So this is a good lesson for everyone. When it comes to the most expensive beef in the world, when it comes to Kobe beef, when it comes to Wagyu, save a bite. Save a bite. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Of course, this is post-Christmas, but not right before New Year's, so the last chapter of, 2023. So, with that being said, did you enjoy Kengan Omega in 2023? I've been pretty okay with it. It's stupid fun. It's like watching a Fast and Furious movie. It's just dumb action fun at this point, and I've been enjoying that aspect of it. So I think it was a fine year for Kengan Omega, but what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, and we'll see all you people back here next year for Kengan Omega chapter 243. Hope you guys had a good one, and hope you have a happy new year. That's it from me. Sayonara, everybody.